The guy running will Latin. The guy run, my friend, but they're gonna catch him. You see that, my friend? They're gonna go get him. They're gonna go get him, my friend. Look.
What's up, fam? It's your boy Demuir here, purveyor of all sounds underground. Thank you for joining me on this YouTube Tuesday, and you'll notice my environment today is quite different. We are actually in the DJ booth of Toronto's Kota nightclub, internationally recognized nightclub worldwide. Everyone from Kerry Chandler to Huxley have played here, and I'm happy to be here to interview as a follow-up to my local Bullshhh interview, or video actually. I'll be interviewing Toronto DJ and promoter DJ Addy. I'm looking forward to it, but before we jump into the details, what I need from you is that SLC, subscribe, like, comment, and more importantly, hit the notifications bell to stay in tune with the other videos that we have coming. All right, DJ Addy, what's up? Thanks.
Excited to be here.
Man, dude, I'm so excited to be here. We're in a coveted spot, being the DJ booth of Kota nightclub, internationally recognized nightclub worldwide. I could tell you, as an aspiring DJ and producer, I've often visualized being in this booth. So to be here with you, because I actually recently finished doing a party with you in Kenny Glasgow, is phenomenal. But even more exciting, what we're going to be discussing is the whole topic as a follow-up to my first video called Local Bullshhh. And I was interested to see, I was interested to see how you respond to that. Actually, let me ask you the first question on that, because that video, the reason why I did the video is because, and this one is because I believe there is a strong misperception in both camps, in the promoter camp and aspiring DJ and producer camp. Yeah. And some of it's a bit of entitlement. A lot of it isn't, people just not knowing what's going on and people not taking the time to self-reflect. So what were your views on that topic?
So I think you pretty much hit it. I actually did watch the video after we talked.
Yeah.
And I think the sense of entitlement is actually the biggest part sometimes. And you got to realize, and this is something I realized over time, that this is still a business.
Yes. Yeah.
At the end, I mean, look, I can speak for myself and some of the partners that we're involved with. Man, we're taking big hits on some certain parties. Like certain parties, we've lost 10 to 20K.
Wow.
Right. So when you start taking those types of losses, you start looking at what is it that you shouldn't be doing in order for you to not take these losses. So that kind of gives you an overall scope of how to look at the business. Mm-hmm. From a DJ end, you don't see it. For the DJ end, everyone is like, no, hey, I make this big record, I'm signed to this certain label.
Gotcha.
I'm entitled to be playing in the DJ booth. But unfortunately, it doesn't work that way.
Right.
And at the end, it all comes down to numbers.
Yeah.
Really, at the end, it comes down to numbers. And I come from a background, like my original, I got pushed into promoting first before I became a DJ. We're talking late 90s. I was in my teens. I wanted to become a DJ. I started hanging around with the guys that were doing all ages events back then. And the only thing we had back then was pagers. This is how back we were going. There was no social media.
Two-way pager.
There was no, there wasn't. We're talking.
Somebody called me. They got an answering service, bro.
We're talking about your number, and when you got the 911 at the end, knowing this is urgent. That's where we're coming from. That's where I'm coming from. So what we used to do, I mean, again, the reason I explain it is because just so I can reflect on the newcomers, saying this is the kind of hustle you need in order to become where some of these people are, including myself. Mm-hmm. When we were doing these, so anyways, I decided I wanted to be a DJ. No experience. Started hanging around with the guys that were throwing the parties at the time. And what we used to do, we used to go rent. We're talking mid-90s.
Yeah.
We used to go and rent banquet halls and throw all ages parties. And our form of promotion at the time was we used to go rent a cube truck, put generator, the system in the back, and get all these young kids that wanted to be involved, jump into this cube van, pull up in front of a high school at lunchtime, and just turn on the music. Now we're getting everybody's attention, and we'll just go all start physically handing out flyers.
Yeah.
And
the guerrilla marketing.
Guerrilla marketing.
That was before guerrilla marketing came in, right?
Yeah. So what the reason I'm saying this is that that's the level of hustle it takes.
No, not to interrupt you, I would actually say, just outside looking in, I would say you're still doing that. Even more so now, because Addy, I'd say this is probably the first time I've actually really, I've only seen your name on things online and stuff, but after
Sitting
doing
there
a party,
interacting,
sitting and interacting, I know you more as an individual, as a person, a businessman, and and developing into a friendship. So I gotta say, like, there's just a lot of depth behind stuff, things I didn't even think about.
100%.
You know what I mean?
There's a lot involved. A lot of newcomers, again, watching your video, a lot of it's like, hey, how come he's playing, I'm not playing? There's certain guys that are playing, but there's a reason these guys are playing. Hey, there's a trust. There's a trust. The circle of people that are around us, we trust in their hustle. Again, this is why I'm explaining the hustle, is that we trust their hustle, A. B, these guys have been putting hours. Half of these guys, I'd say probably 90% of these guys have been coming to our parties for years.
Yes.
They pretty much left skid marks on the dance floors. But the problem is that you guys don't see it.
Yeah.
Because you're not there with it. So again, you have to think of it as a business. At the end, your music is good. You're getting signed to a record label. All that is good. At the end, it's a sales game. You have to be a salesman. Right. Look at yourself, making great records. You're making videos. You have a vlog podcast going on. Why are you doing it? Why are you doing it? Because you're selling Demuir.
Yeah.
And the big record labels and the agencies and the managers see that. This is the product. They're like, look at it. Well, you know what? This guy's making great records. He's hustling. I'm going to take on the chance. I'm going to take him on, put him on, and the touring, everything starts. It's the same thing on a local level.
And that's what I was saying, because I get asked this question all the time everywhere I go. Hey, D, do you get put on locally? That's a question I get from a lot of aspiring DJs and producers. And what you described there is the hustle is genuinely a two-way street in the ecosystem, of clubbing,
Of course, and I think you pretty much hit it. It's such a cliche thing to say, the word entitlement.
Yes. Because
it just gets thrown around, especially with the millennials. But that's the part that a lot of people need to deal with. You gotta get the emotions out of it. Once you're mixing emotion with business, that's when you start running into these types of problems. Another mistake a lot of DJs make is they get caught up with BS too much. Start hating.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm a techno DJ now. Fuck tech house. Or this trance party. Whatever Inc is doing, we're the best. And once you start getting involved in that, you're just bringing hate into your mind, into the game, and that's going to resonate with you moving forward. And one of the biggest lessons that I've learned, actually two big lessons, from my promoting, from the promotion end, was that my failures are the best thing there ever happened to me.
Absolutely.
My failures are the best things. The biggest lessons. I could have never gone to school to even learn what I learned from the failures. Lost a lot of money. Made a lot. It might seem like we're doing good and everything's going fine, but people don't see the fact that at some point I was on the verge of going bankrupt because all it takes is a snowstorm, a bad weather, coronavirus.
Yeah. As we speak, right?
And you're out of it. Yeah, exactly. I had to cancel a party next Tuesday. A main room at Rebel, canceling it. And we're probably going to take about a 10K, 15K hit.
Yep.
And that's part of the game. And lesson number one is, once you start getting caught up with the BS, you start making enemies. The last thing you want to do is have enemies.
Absolutely. And one of the things that could quickly create the right environment of getting caught up in BS, I will say, as when I was coming up, I would see local flyers all the time, and I'll be straight with you. It's the same 4, 5 names there.
I was part of it.
But you've explained. I knew in reflection why that was, because you said things like, hey, you work with people that you trust, that people who hustle, people who've actually been on your dance floor, left skid marks. I totally get that, but I was looking at it from a different perspective where I know what hours and time I have to put into my craft to get me to a certain place, and where I consciously just made the decision, I can't get wrapped up in the local stuff because I'm thinking at a global
Yeah, of
level.
course. Yeah, of course.
I'm thinking at a very
Totally different.
global level.
Totally different.
But
game.
I think, you know, as advice to people, and I wanted to get your opinion on this, as advice to aspiring DJs and producers looking to get into coveted booths like this, is to remove themselves out of the local thinking and just think at a global perspective and worry about what it is you're doing to put the work in, because people will eventually come to it. That's my thought.
Yeah.
But from a promoter perspective, what do you
think
what do you think about that?
There's a local ecosystem, and it's totally different. I guess realm of this whole business that we're in, but they're very similar at the same time. Look, again, as I said, you wanted to focus on the global level. You're still pulling that hustle in.
Yeah.
How are you getting to that level?
Yeah.
You're making the great records. You're with Raw. You're hanging around with the right people, Nathan and Carlo, right? Like you're doing exactly what a local player should be doing if you want to get into this DJ booth. I'm working on a guy right now that he literally came up to me. He's like, I want to DJ. I've been DJing for a while. I want to DJ, but I know how it is. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna jump on your promotion team. I'm gonna help you promote. And then if there's a chance, just keep me in mind.
You know,
Man, look here. I just gave you the blueprint.
yeah, absolutely.
Look,
Bro,
obviously we do stuff like Kota. Everybody knows in Toronto.
Yeah.
It's not me. I'm working with some of the greatest guys in the business,
Absolutely.
and I'm like humbled to be at this level that I actually. But at the end, it's about who's hustling with us.
Yes.
If you want to get into this DJ booth, hit me up. Don't message me on Facebook. And you haven't been to any of our parties. You know how much that pisses me off?
Dude, it happens to me too. You got it. I'm sure you love this, where you log on to Facebook or Instagram, it shows that you're active, and some random send you a link to a mix of all of their tracks. That's one thing that's happened to me. The other thing is just a random mix. It's like, yeah, bro, check it out, and you know, help me out. Like, how do you respond to that?
Again, so
when that happens to you?
No, it's happened.
Yeah.
No, it's happened. I'll tell you exactly. There was a guy. I remember there was a party, one of our opening slots, kind of something happened. We had to fill it in. I called Michelle and I'm like, hey, do you know somebody that we could put into this? She threw this guy's name out. No problem. This is how quickly, when you're in the hustle, this is how quickly things happen. I go on the guy's profile. I check. So what? Oh, I went to message him on Instagram. I go on a message, and I start seeing all the parties of mine that he's been in, and he's like tagged me in it. He's doing good stuff.
Oh.
Bro, the guy's first in line.
Yeah.
There was no questions asked.
Yeah.
I listened to his music. Called him. I said, yeah, I know what you're doing. I gave him some pointers, what you need to do in the opening sets. He listened. Played for us. As soon as the name went on the Kota flyer, that's it. Everyone else is now there's spotlight on you. Oh, who's this guy that's playing Kota now?
Yeah.
The booking starts rolling in.
Yeah.
And that's how easy it is.
That's awesome.
And that's how easy it is. I just gave you the blueprint.
Yeah.
Again, going back to the hustle is you send me a mix, I'll listen to it. But if I have never seen you at my party, why would I even? What is the reason for me to? Unless you have a following, which I know you don't. If you're sending me a mix on Facebook, you don't have a following. That's why you're reaching out to me.
Yeah, I'm humbled that you actually take the time to listen to it. Because I'll be real with you. If I were you, I would say, fuck it, I'm not listening to it because you're some random. I don't know who you are, and you know that in my opinion. You know, I'll be frank, it's probably biased, but I run into so much of that now. I can tell you, Addy, a countless number of times. I call them level up situations in your career. You have certain milestones.
Yeah.
So that for me last year, signing to Hot Creations, having High Live Dirty go out be a huge, massive hit was it. I can literally tell you on the day that once that landed, afterwards, all these random requests coming in, listen to this,
and it's
put me on.
It's fake.
You have this person's email. It's fake as fuck. You know, so that's I commend you for being humble enough to actually listen to this stuff.
One thing I learned is you never know who the next guy is. I always pay attention when the emails come in.
Yeah.
And as soon as I click on it, if you don't have your shit together, that's it. You're not seeing it. So that goes back to the hustle. I cannot emphasize enough. If you want to get into this DJ booth, show your hustle game. Social media, like I cannot, like man, be active on social media because there are times where we're so busy. Sometimes we forget who our roster is. Yeah. I literally, this is very embarrassing to say. It's just because there's so much stuff going on, and the ADD factor kicks in. We're like, oh, we have this booking. Who the fuck's gonna open? So then I literally have done this. Flyer. No, man, no. I go on Facebook and I start scrolling through just so I can keep an eye of who is gonna be fit to this party. Yeah. And that just has nothing to do with this. I mean, you can't get mad at that. It's just the way the business is. Yeah. Now again, if you want to play the part, I just gave you the blueprint. Come fucking help us. Jump on come. I just told you this guy is gonna get to play this DJ booth just for the fact that he came to me with an offer like that.
You absolutely you got to give to get. There's nothing for free, and entitlement just doesn't have a place anywhere. I totally feel you.
Yeah, I'm gonna share a story. I think you'll appreciate that.
Sure.
I finished school late '90s. Coming out of school in debt. Started working at Chrysler because I couldn't get a job. In debt. And I was doing PDIs and oil changes. Cars pulling in on 40-degree weather, crazy. Yeah. And that was the hustle. I got one opportunity. There was a record that was hot at the time. It was called Sensation. The guy from BKNY, New York. Yeah. And I don't know how this whole connection happened. I think it happened through my buddy Rob. Ended up doing it. He asked me to do a remix on this double pack.
Sick. Yeah.
Bro, I did that remix, and he's like, well, we need to mix it down. You don't have the equipment. And at the time, I was using the K2000 sampler. I don't know if you know. Yeah. And he's like, you're fluent on this? I'm like, he goes, come down to my studio. We'll mix it down. Sick. Bro, literally the next day, me and Phil is the owner of BPM, by the way. He's the main guy. He and I are very close. So I'm like, Phil, we need to go to New York. We literally rented a car, drove 9 hours to Brooklyn, mixed the record down, slept on the guy's floor in the studio, got up the next day, and we drove 9 hours back because I had to be at work on Monday.
That's the real hustle, dude.
And that's this again. The reason I'm saying this is because that hustle is pretty much imprinted to what I do, and I put that hustle behind everything. And this is why I got to where I am today. I think I'm a little bit successful in what we do, and this is why the young guys. This is the type of hustle it takes. You don't necessarily have to drive to New York now, but there's a ton of stuff that you could do for the big guys to notice you, and the game is for you to become. There's great DJs out there. There's great producers out there. If you think you're a good producer, there's another 30 guys better than you. Yeah, and you know it. Yeah. What's the difference that you're making and they're not making it? Because you got a hustle going on. Your videos on YouTube are getting plays now, and you're out there and you're doing your shit, man. That's the hustle. Yeah. And at the end, it comes down to how hungry you are. I was fucking hungry, bro. I drove 9 hours, slept on it, and I came back. That's how hungry I was,
bro. So I'd say we're always still hungry. Like I'm gonna make a statement to you, and I want to get your thoughts on it. There was a time when I was, I had records out in the '90s. And my parents were super strict, so I couldn't really fuck with the industry or anything.
Yeah,
you know how it is, right?
Yeah.
West
You want you to be doctors.
Your background's Persian?
Yeah.
So you know the deal. So I had to just stay fixated on my craft, and there was a time I was practicing for 1 hour, and then I made a decision you know what, it's got to be at least 2 hours. Then I went to 4. I'm actually considering 6 now. So I believe the moment you make those types of decisions, that opportunity intersects immediately with that level of work. Dude, there's been times where I played a gig and I said, "Oh shit, I didn't practice." I went home, practiced for 2 hours, then I went to bed. So, what are your thoughts on opportunity intersecting with hard work? Is really where the shit comes together.
I think you pretty much hit it. Look, opportunities are going to be out there, but if you're not up to par, it's going to just whiz right by you.
Yeah.
For example, this kid that I got to play at one of our brand. I looked at his profile. Everything was tight. He had a SoundCloud set up. He had a good social media game going. He was out there. I'm looking at his history. I look on Facebook. He's active. That just puts you in front of everybody else. So opportunity came, and because you're doing your hustle and you're doing your hard work, at some point, someone's gonna recognize it.
Right.
Yes, you're gonna get stepped on. There's gonna be people that are gonna take advantage of you, man. We could sit here for hours for the amount of time I got fucked in this industry. And my breakthrough was the very notorious Toronto After Hours. How I got started was that the promoter at the time, we kind of got close. We're hanging around with the same people.
Yeah.
And again, opportunities come in, and I took on the mornings at this After Hours. And at the time, they were doing like 30 people in the morning. I literally said, I'm going to take this on. I'm going to help you with this. So I helped build serious numbers. And then I started getting screwed because now I'm doing all this hustle. I'm not getting the time in. There was time that I would go home and literally put holes in the back of my door. Yeah, it's getting to that point, and I'm getting screwed. And at the time, I just had to just take it, because my focus was something else. My focus wasn't having to play here. My focus to be somebody in this city, and every other goal that I had set up, it was going to be part of this. So at the end, you're going to get screwed, and sometimes you have to calculate and see, getting screwed might actually help you at this point, because it's getting your foot through the door.
The parts of the I always say it's better to fail, because you learn so much from the failure, and it prepares you for something larger. And I know I want to shift the conversation a bit and get your perspective, because we spent a lot of time talking about the local perspective. For guys who break through and who now have 3 or 4 different agents, I would love to know from your perspective what it's like dealing with agents, because you also bring in international acts too. And that's the other piece about the local bullshit piece, where I encourage aspiring DJs and producers to step back and just think, listen, it's a lot larger than you, depending on the promoter you're dealing with. Like, you could be talking about someone like Addy, who's got a lot of stuff on the go, plus their own life, and they're dealing with international acts. So I'm interested, what's your take? How's your experience with dealing with international agencies?
You want to know at the current time, especially in Canada?
How is it for you? Yeah.
I think that a lot of the agents don't pay attention to the fact that especially in Canada, there's a 30% discount on the dollar. So in essence, the $10,000 DJs are costing us $13,000. And I think the agents should start paying attention to that, because there's a lot of the parties that we do, we lose money. And at some point, we're going to stop booking these DJs, because it's just not going to be worth it anymore.
Yeah.
And this is we're talking now. So I think a lot of the agents, we talk to them, explain to them, they don't want to listen. And that's where we're at. Do I have a right answer to fix that? No. But I think at some point, it's going to cause a problem for the artists.
Yeah.
How many times are you going to book somebody and lose money? Are you going to book them again?
Understood.
And then what happens is, then they go to your competition. The competition's paying this money, and then the competition can't deliver the numbers, and the artist profile just drops. Right. So then what? Now you were $10,000 EG. Now we won't even pay you $5,000, because nobody else wants to book you in the city anymore.
Right. That's interesting.
So So what's the answer here?
Yeah. No. Well, I think the right answer for that, and I'm going to share an example with you for perspective for promoters. The right answer is to approach things from a collaborative perspective, right? And because that way, once you say, hey, I want to understand what your economics look like versus the other challenges, I really do believe people can land in the middle of the road. But it doesn't. That's not. But I'm just telling you, like in my conversations with my North American agent, for example, those conversations don't. Well, I should probably follow up with you and you let me know. I tend to think that they are balanced because that's how I would want to be treated if I were the promoter. So, you know, when you booked me here as an example, and I won't get into numbers, there was some conversation back and forth, and my immediate thing was, well, I'm local, I don't have flights to pay, so cool, let's meet in the middle somewhere. That was an easy thing for me to do, but there has been times from an artist's perspective where a promoter, not you, where a promoter has come in and completely like lowballed it. Here's $150 to play. Here, like, huh?
Yeah. Well,
like versus,
that's
and I don't want to.
That's business in general.
Right.
Right.
And I don't want to play the "Do you know who I am" card, but you know, based on all of the hustle and discipline we just discussed, a lot of DJs and producers go through the same thing. So to have an offer like that locally is really strange. So that's why I say collaborative.
Unfortunately, that falls under the fact that you can't get emotions involved with business.
Right.
Somebody offered you $150 and one do it, don't do it.
Right. I agree.
And I'll tell you something. The right people doing the right things are not going to offer you that $150.
Exactly. Right.
So again, now it goes back.
You're a shining example of that, by the way. So that's why I completely
and
agree.
I'll tell you something. Also, now on top, sometimes you want to get your foot to the right door.
Mm-hmm.
Don't play for $100. Come play for free, but play free for the right people.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
If that's gonna get you into the DJ booth,
yeah,
and that's what you need to do, because that $150 that you're fighting for, that $150 could be, how can I put this? That $150 that you're not gonna get, you may have to put $500 in Facebook ads to get where you that one single gig is gonna get.
Right.
You.
Right.
Right. So, getting the emotion involved with business, going back, you can't get them. You can't mix those two.
Yeah.
Once you do, then all the hate starts, all the.
Absolutely. You need to remove the emotional components for sure, and you also need what I'm hearing from you is you also need to look at things somewhat strategically. You also you need to be analytical. It's a business decision.
You want
right?
You want to be a DJ? You want to be in this business? You better be a good salesman.
Mm-hmm.
Bottom line, you're selling yourself. We're all selling. Everyone's selling themselves. But why are you making records?
Yeah, absolutely.
What's it?
I call it the
why is
invitation.
Carlo and Nathan making records?
Why do you have your own label?
Okay, here.
Right.
Why did Nathan go to Ibiza? I think it was 2 summers in a row and lived in Ibiza for the whole. You know how expensive that is.
No, man.
Why did Nathan do that?
Mm.
Well, he was hanging around with all the heads. His music got played.
Yeah.
He made the friends. How much money did he spend?
Yeah.
How much money did he make when he was down there?
It was an investment.
It's an
for
investment.
Sure. Yeah. Absolutely.
Right? So, for example, if I have an opportunity to play a festival in Europe,
Mm-hmm.
and the guy calls me out of nowhere, man, for me, bro, just pay for my flight. I'm coming. I want to be involved with that party because I'm a nobody. I'm not making records. I have no recognition
Right.
farther than Canada, right? For a guy like me, so it's an investment for me.
Mm-hmm.
So again, when you differentiate, when you pretty much get the emotions out of it and get involved with the business end of it, it'll get easier.
Cool. So how do you determine the fees at a local level? Yeah.
I tell you what, there's no structure.
Mm.
I don't want to throw numbers out there,
No.
but you know what? That's a very good question. But we pretty much just look at the level of numbers that the local DJ brings in, and we watch everything.
Mm.
Literally watch everything. It all depends on hustle.
Yeah.
At the end, and there's like a standard that it was never discussed, but there's that standard that pretty much everybody follows.
Yeah.
There's like an A level DJs in Toronto, and then there's a B, and then there's a C, and the C
Gotcha.
levels and the openers get this much. And listen, like half of the guys that come through the door, these guys are so humble.
Yeah.
The money we even give them, they're even surprised we give them the money.
Mm.
You know, and most of the guys that are pretty much in our circle that are playing, They just want to be in here, and they see it as an investment. And the money is we've never had to discuss any kind of fees with anybody on a local level. Yeah. Going back, if you're playing with the right guys, they're not the type that are gonna say, well, you know, I'm gonna pay you if it brings a bunch of numbers like that. That's
pay
not
for play.
the play.
Yeah.
Those are the guys you don't want to be working with.
Yeah, and I was describing this to my videographer, Wasteman Wano, and you're a waste man, bro. But similar to your guy that approached you and said, "Hey, I want to help with your promotion." One story is similar. We were neighbors, and he'd hear me practicing and working on my stuff, and he shows up years later and says, "Hey, I want to get into this stuff. How can I help you?" So it's invaluable, folks. It's invaluable what you learn, because here he is now taking in a lot of information.
It gets look, this same we just talked about gets done on a corporate level as a salesman. You want to make the sales. You're taking the CEOs. You're going to take them lunch. You're going to buy them things. You're going to do things. You got to make friends with them.
You're going to hustle.
And once you're in that circle, opportunities. You're the first one in line. Very simple. Here's your blueprint.
Yeah.
It's that simple.
Totally. I think that's it for me. I think we've had a very
a
very deep and comprehensive discussion. Anything else you want to share or top off?
Covered a lot, man.
Yeah, I think we covered a lot here. And I honestly, Addy, I'm very humbled. I'm speaking from my heart here. I'm very humbled by this discussion because when I made the decision to return to music in 2010, there was a period where it's like, man, Toronto isn't showing up. Toronto isn't seeing me, right? And I mean, that lasted for a minute, right? And it went away because, my mom was like, so what are you doing? It was one of those things.
Yeah,
my mom's my best friend. And she's
what are you doing to
what are you doing?
Hey,
and I was like,
let me stop you. Let me stop you. Look at what you're doing, man.
Yeah.
We're having a conversation. You're in front lines now. In my mind, you're in front lines because if there's going to be an opportunity, I'm gonna mention you, just for the fact that we're doing this. The emails are going, we're talking, and I hope this is a good lesson for a lot of people to learn.
We're also
at the end, it's a business. Remember, it's a business. There's economics involved. There's money to be lost. So you got to bring something to the table. Man, there's been DJs that you know what I fucking hate is when I book somebody, they just show up to play, and that happens a lot.
So what would the difference be? So you say they show up to play. One ignorance would say, well, that's what they do.
See that guy there?
Yeah.
That guy knows how I am.
All right. Get him. Yeah.
I'm telling you, he's the
Finger
best.
still pointing.
He's the best. He's the best. He's the best. And I'll tell you why, because he sees, man, my branding, there is a line of stuff that you got to do, and it's outlined. You need to be hustling. You got to be on social media. You got to do this. You got to add your people to the events. You got to share it. You got to tag people. Blah 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 blah. This all comes. We have a protocol.
Yeah.
You follow the protocol. I've booked DJs. You don't do anything. And the other thing is, silence in this industry is the biggest thing. Nobody will ever come and tell you, you know what, fuck you did that.
Oh God.
They'll just.
Yeah.
That's it.
Passive aggressiveness lives in the dance music industry.
Like the best.
The music industry, period.
I haven't experienced on a global level. I'm sure it's the same. But from us, you do some fucked up shit.
Yeah.
Mute.
Yeah, I know.
Done. We'll just make moves without you, bro. Done. I won't explain to you. You gotta watch. You won't even know how you got it.
Take it. Addy, I really enjoyed this because in this conversation, I feel like there's a lot of similarities and common ground on a number of different things. Whether it be, treating people professionally, hustling, truly working hard, and being grateful for the opportunities. You described the economics so clearly and giving me so much
an insight
more
from the
depth
inside.
And perspective. Yeah, man. I really appreciate it, and I think others will too.
I'm actually glad that we did this because, I'm seeing you hustle.
Yeah, man, every
I'm
day.
glad to be involved because I know The hustle.
Yeah,
Bottom
man.
line is the hustle. I cannot say it enough. Once your hustle is out there, the right people are gonna recognize it.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you so much for your time again.
That was good, man.
Respect.
Awesome.